Like and subscribe to PalsFundamentals on YouTube for more videos like this. Welcome to this North Atlantic Regional News Report. Today, we're zeroing in on some recent political and economic developments, specifically from Iceland, the Shetland Islands, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands.
And it's really important we stress up front that we're presenting information straight from the sources, no opinions, no speculation from us.
Exactly. The idea is just to give you a concise overview, country by country. You can draw your own conclusions. So, shall we start with Iceland?
Let's do it. There's been quite a bit happening there politically, especially around whaling.
Right, the Hvalir HF whaling application. Jarni Benediktsson, well, initially he said he wasn't fit to process it.
Because of a relative having significant interests, according to a Ministry of Food request Roof got hold of.
Yes, and he was caretaker prime minister then. He was apparently thinking about getting an acting minister to handle it.
That definitely raises eyebrows, doesn't it? Potential conflicts of interest right at the top.
It does. But then maybe 2 weeks later, he changed his mind, decided the reasons for disqualification didn't apply anymore.
Oh, do we know why he changed his mind?
That's a thing. The documents don't actually say why, or even exactly when. Just sometime between November 4th and 8th, he told the permanent secretary.
Okay, so a bit unclear there.
And then fast forward to early December, he granted Hvalir a 5-year whaling license. This was after an election where his party, the Independence Party, did pretty poorly, historically poorly, in fact.
And didn't he step down not long after that?
He did. About a month later, stepped down as party leader, resigned from parliament altogether. The whole sequence is, well, notable.
It certainly is. And wasn't there something about secret recordings, too?
Yes, adding another layer. Recordings surfaced, apparently made by Black Cube, the firm linked to Harvey Weinstein previously.
Right.
And on these recordings, John Gunnarsson's son supposedly claimed his father got a spot on the party list in exchange for making sure Hvalir got its license.
Wow. That's quite an allegation.
It is. The claim was that Jarni couldn't sign because of family ties, so another minister from the party would do it.
A direct quid pro quo claim.
Exactly. Now, Jarni denied any close relatives had interests in Hvalir parents, siblings, children. None held shares, he said.
Okay. And what happened with John Gunnarsson after the recordings came out?
Well, he ended up having no involvement in the Hvalir application after that point. Requests for documents about that decision were denied.
Interesting. And someone else had doubts about this whole thing earlier, right?
Yes, Willem Hardikonsson from the Progressive Party. He'd questioned whether a caretaker government should even be issuing a license like this in the first place.
Which touches on that broader point about major decisions during governmental transitions. Okay, what else from Iceland?
Shifting gears a bit, Logan Air had some trouble. A network-wide system issue, they called it.
Tech problems. Affecting bookings and check-ins.
Yes. They advised passengers to allow extra time, bring proof of booking. Manual check-ins were needed everywhere.
Right. Unless you'd already checked in online, I suppose.
Correct. If you had your boarding pass already, you could go straight to security. Still, a headache for many, I imagine.
No doubt. Disruptions like that are never fun. Anything more positive?
Yes, on the safety front, the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency confirmed that helicopter response times at Sundberg, that's Oscar Charlie, will stay put.
Good news. So, still 15 minutes during the day and 45 at night.
That's right. Alistair Carmichael, the MP for Orkney and Shetland, welcomed the confirmation. There had been concerns response times might increase.
And he credited locals for pushing back.
He did. Islanders, whistleblowers, local journalists, he said, they brought the initial plans to light, leading to the reversal. Shows the power of local voices.
Definitely.
Oh.
Okay, what about legal matters?
There was a sentencing in Reykjavik District Court. A man got 15 months for smuggling cocaine, nearly a kilo.
Caught at Keflavik Airport.
Yes, coming in from Spain. Drugs were in his suitcase. He confessed fully. No prior record.
Did the court think he was the main organizer?
No, the investigation apparently didn't suggest that, but they did say his role was essential for getting the drugs into circulation. His sentence was reduced a bit for time already served in pretrial detention since November 2023.
Right, standard procedure there. So moving from crime to local government finances.
Yes, in Koppavogur, the municipal council approved quite significant cost-cutting ISK 670 million.
And this was to cover teacher wage increases.
Primarily, yes. The teachers secured raises around 24.5% over 3 years, so the council needed to find the funds.
So what kind of cuts did they approve?
Things like reduced working hours for elected officials, shorter opening times for swimming pools on public holidays, a wage freeze for senior management, and a halt on most rehires, though with exceptions.
And the mayor's salary.
That's being reduced, too, by separating her councillor pay from her mayor pay.
But the minority group wasn't entirely satisfied.
No, they criticized the measures. They wanted deeper cuts to the mayor Astis Kristjansdottir's salary, specifically 10%, and a review of her travel allowance, which is apparently ISK 2.1 million a year.
And those proposals were rejected.
Yes. Other minority ideas were also rejected, like postponing a sports club grandstand and asking the public for cost-saving ideas.
So, a bit of political disagreement there.
Definitely. The minority argued the mayor's overall reduction wasn't that meaningful and criticized her performance. The majority defended her, calling the focus on her pay political maneuvering and pointing out she's taking a cut as a councillor and facing a wage freeze.
Classic local government debate on budgets. Okay, any health news?
A brief point on tuberculosis. Iceland doesn't vaccinate against TB and never has.
Really? How did they control it then?
Through other public health measures, apparently successfully enough that vaccination wasn't deemed necessary. TB is rare there now.
But cases still occur.
Annually, yes, but far fewer than in many other countries. The chief epidemiologist, Gruen Aspeland, noted that while TB is still widespread globally, maybe a quarter of the world's population infected, it's low in Iceland and Europe generally.
And the existing vaccine isn't perfect anyway, is it?
No, she pointed out it works best in infants against severe illness, but isn't great in older people or at stopping transmission. It's most common in Southeast Asia, Africa, and parts of Eastern Europe.
Interesting public health approach. One last thing from Iceland.
Yes, another court case. A man sentenced to 6 months by the District Court of Northeast Iceland for a serious assault in Akureyri back in September 2022.
What happened?
He hit another man in the head with a glass, causing him to fall, and then punched him repeatedly.
Ouch. Any compensation ordered?
Yes, ISK 600,000 in damages to the victim. And importantly, the sentence included extra time because he violated probation from a previous conviction.
Also for a violent offense.
Yes, so the court felt a suspended sentence wasn't appropriate this time.
Okay, that covers Iceland. Shall we move over to the Shetland Islands?
Let's do that. News from Shetland seems to touch on culture, a bit of local trouble, and energy.
Starting with culture.
Yes, a new bilingual book called Shetland, a young language with Ald roots.
Shetland, the local language or dialect. So the book is about cataloging and celebrating it.
Exactly. Written by Viveka Valupalai and Roy Malay, it's designed to be accessible, especially for native speakers, but also useful for linguists. Includes essays by native speakers, too.
Sounds like a valuable resource. Has it been well received?
Very enthusiastically by academics, apparently, praised as invaluable. And the publishers, I hear Dee, have been campaigning for Shetland to be officially recognized as a language for a long time.
Positive development for linguistic heritage there. What was the local trouble you mentioned?
Just a brief report noted some vandalism in Lerwick. A school and some cars were affected. No other details provided in the source material, though.
Unfortunate. Okay, and energy.
Statkraft's project for a hydrogen production facility on the Shetland mainland. It's been shortlisted for a UK government scheme.
Ah, green hydrogen. Is this the one linked to the Skatstad airport site?
No, apparently this is separate from those discussions. Statkraft said they were pleased with the government's commitment and look forward to sharing more details.
So potential growth in the green energy sector for Shetland. Okay, let's move across to Greenland. Big geopolitical focus there, it seems.
Very much so. The relationship between Greenland, Denmark, and the U.S. has been prominent.
Right. Leaders from Denmark and Greenland sending messages, particularly towards the U.S.
Yes. Danish PM Mette Frederiksen alongside the outgoing Nalakersuits chairman Mute B. Eged and the incoming one, Jens Fredrik Nielsen. They had a strong message for former President Trump about Greenland.
What was the core message?
Frederiksen basically said Denmark and Greenland need to get closer and directly addressed the U.S. saying, look, you can't just annex other countries even if you cite international security, trying to counter that rationale for U.S. interest.
And they met on board a ship.
A Danish defense inspection ship, yes. Spent a day strengthening ties, discussing more equality within the Danish realm.
How did the Greenlandic leaders view those talks?
Jens Fredrik Nielsen sounded positive, said they'd laid a foundation for future cooperation and talked about achieving greater equality.
But there are still challenges to that equality within the current setup.
Well, one commentator, Lars Trier Mogensen, suggested true equality is impossible under the current Danish constitution because Copenhagen controls foreign and security policy.
A key sticking point. But Fredriksen is pushing the partnership idea.
She insists they're very close and coordinated, and she assured that Jens Fredrik Nielsen will be included in any meetings between the U.S. and the Kingdom of Denmark.
So, Naalakkersuit, the Greenlandic government, wants a seat at the table.
Absolutely. They demand involvement in international discussions about Greenland.
And despite historical times, achieving that balance isn't always smooth sailing.
No, past disagreements show it can be challenging. But Mudby Enges did extend goodwill, crediting Fredriksson for fostering a relationship where Denmark listens more now.
And the incoming chair, Nielsen.
He vowed the new Naalakkersuit will hold the Danish government accountable, insists Greenland won't be in the background anymore, and feels that approach is gaining ground in Denmark.
Interesting dynamic. What about public opinion in the U.S. on this?
A recent Pew Research poll from late March indicated not much support for the U.S. taking over Greenland. 54% against, only 23% in favor, 22% unsure.
So, less than a quarter actually support the idea.
Right, and 34% didn't think Trump would actually pursue the plan anyway, though 23% thought it was extremely likely.
And Trump himself.
He's repeatedly said he believes the U.S. will acquire Greenland, calling it necessary for national security, said the U.S. will go as far as needed.
And didn't the vice president visit recently?
Yes, J.D. Vance visited the U.S. base in Greenland in late March. That drew criticism from Greenlandic officials.
What about within the Republican Party? Is support higher there?
Higher than the general public, yes, but still not overwhelming. 41% of Republicans surveyed favored acquiring Greenland, 28% were against, 31% unsure. The poll also found low support for the U.S. taking over Gaza, for context.
Okay. Shifting focus within Greenland, there was mention of an author finding hope.
Yes, Niviaq Corneliusen, an award-winning Greenlandic author, after staying silent with Danish media for a while due to some controversy.
Ah, yes. I remember something about a satire segment.
Right. Well, she spoke about finding hope in Greenlandic youth during what she called this chaotic time with the U.S. interest.
Hope in their political engagement.
Exactly. She praised their engagement, saying it was something she hadn't seen before. She also expressed a wish for more understanding from Denmark about the current uncertainties.
Is she working directly with young people?
Yes, through her project, the Traveling Writers School. She works in smaller towns and settlements, helping youth express themselves through writing, sharing stories via a podcast on KNR.
That sounds powerful.
She finds their life-affirming spirit inspiring, even amidst hardships like neglect. Sees great hope in them. As she put it, where there is life, there is hope.
A strong sentiment. Now, there was also something about a Greenlandic MP getting involved in Danish politics.
Quite unusual, yes. Ajod Chemnitz of IA, along with two Faroes MPs, publicly supported the Danish climate minister, Lars Aagaard, during a controversy he was facing about withheld information.
Why did they do that?
Chemnitz said IA supports the government, and this was an expression of that support. She even suggested it helped save the minister's job.
How did that go down in Denmark?
Opposition politicians were critical, saying the North Atlantic MPs shouldn't interfere in Danish domestic politics.
But Chemnitz defended it.
She did. Argued that supporting the government allows Greenland to have more influence and get more issues addressed. She stressed it's rare and decided case by case.
Did she say they got anything specific in return?
No, she denied any political favors, just affirmed a good working relationship and noted faster progress on Greenlandic matters. Didn't clarify if it was their idea or if the Danish government asked for the support. Her priority remains Greenlandic issues, she said.
A complex political calculation, it seems. Okay, what about local Greenlandic politics? A change in a mayoral candidacy?
Yes, in Kommune Kikkertalik, Akalu Reimer, who was Siumut's initial candidate after getting the most votes, well, he withdrew.
He withdrew. Why?
Announced it on Facebook, said he wants to continue his life of hunting and fishing, realized he couldn't easily give that up.
So, personal reasons. Who did he endorse?
Frans Lundblad, who got the second highest votes within Siumut.
Wasn't Reimer the one who had trouble answering questions about municipal plans recently?
That's right. He couldn't answer questions about administrative reorganization plans and their economic impact, referring reporters to the group chairman instead.
How did his party react to the withdrawal?
The Siumut group said they fully respect his decision. They emphasized the political agreement with their coalition partners, Nalarak and Ataset, remains unchanged, stressing party unity.
Okay, and speaking of those administrative changes, he couldn't explain what's happening there.
Kommune Kikkertalik is planning to change its political and administrative structure. They want to align it more with other municipalities, increasing the number of committees from 4 to 5.
Have they figured out the cost?
Not yet. The financial implications haven't been investigated. The Simimut Group chairman, Åke Samuelsson, said examining finances will be a priority for the new council.
But they expect to manage it within the existing budget.
That's the expectation. They're creating 9 new chief positions, which Samuelsson acknowledged will increase costs.
So why do it?
He argued it's necessary to make the administration more understandable and accessible to the public, who apparently struggle now to figure out where to go for help.
Right, even though the outgoing candidate who signed off on it couldn't explain it publicly.
Interesting. Okay, shall we head to the Faroe Islands?
Let's do that. News from the Faroes covers wages, tech, and healthcare.
Starting with wages.
Yes, a new 2-year agreement between the Faroes Employers Association and the Samvirk Union. It runs from May 1st, 2025 to May 1st, 2027.
What are the key terms?
Wages go up 4.32% on May 1st, 2025, and then another 3.87% on May 1st, 2026.
Any other changes?
Yes, from January 1st, 2026, the lunch break, minimum 20 minutes if you work over 5 hours, will become paid time.
That's significant.
Also, some adjustments to salary scales in wage groups 2 and 4. They're removing certain seniority levels so employees can reach the top of the scale faster.
Okay, sounds like a solid agreement for those workers. What about the tech news? Faroe Banki has launched a chatbot named Vita, and the big deal is it's the first chatbot in the Faroes that can write and understand for us.
Oh, wow. That's a big step for the language.
Absolutely. Developed with help from language tech centers in the Faroes and Iceland, it's available in the online bank and on the website 24/7.
What can it do? Answer financial questions.
Yes, things like interest rates, card options, guidance on making transfers, finding PIN codes, that sort of thing.
Is it reliable yet?
They say its responses are quality assured, though it's new and will improve over time. The bank stressed how important developing these solutions is for Faroe society and the language itself.
And the underlying tech might be useful elsewhere.
Yes, potentially in linguistic research and for other Faroes businesses. The foundational tech came from Greenland in Iceland and used data from the Faroes Inflection database. Those tools are now publicly available too.
Great example of practical language technology. And healthcare.
Advancements in prostate cancer screening. The hospital system has a new method using a tool that combines MRI scans with ultrasound images.
How does that change things for patients?
Well, previously, about 200 men a year were referred for MRI. Around 70 went on to biopsies in Aalborg, Denmark, and maybe 50 got diagnosed.
So they had to travel to Denmark for the biopsy.
Yes. Now, these examinations can be done right there in the Faroe Islands.
That's a huge improvement. And the method itself.
It merges the MRI and ultrasound images, allowing for really precise biopsies. It's apparently less painful, causes less bleeding, and has virtually no risk of fever because the biopsy is taken through the perineum, not the rectum like before.
Sounds much better for the patient. Quicker, too.
Typically 20-30 minutes, they say, with a smoother experience overall.
Are the samples still analyzed elsewhere?
Yes, samples still go to Aalborg for analysis, with results sent back to the referring doctor. Staff from Aalborg and GE Healthcare helped with the initial exams to train local staff.
So a big step forward in local healthcare provision. Okay, that covers the individual countries. Was there anything covering the wider North Atlantic region?
Yes, one item concerning fisheries. Specifically, mackerel stocks in the Northeast Atlantic.
Ah, sustainability concerns.
Very much so. Experts are warning the stocks are nearing a breaking point because of overfishing.
Has this affected sustainability ratings?
It has. The Marine Conservation Society's Good Fish Guide has downgraded mackerel caught by midwater trawl nets in this region. It moved from rating 3 to 4, which means avoid. Even mackerel caught by hook and line dropped from 2 to 3.
So across the board, it's looking worse for mackerel. Who's responsible for the overfishing?
The report points to Norway, Iceland, the Faroe Islands, and the UK. Total catch limits have consistently exceeded scientific advice.
By how much?
On average, 23% higher in the last 4 years, and actually 39% higher between 2020 and 2024.
Wow, that's significantly over the recommended levels. Are there alternatives suggested?
Yes, the MCS recommends herring from the North Sea and Eastern Channel, and sardines from Cornwall as more sustainable choices.
And farmed options.
They highlight UK farmed mussels as sustainable, also suggest eating lesser-known species, and maybe buying whole fish from local fishmongers.
So a clear warning about mackerel needing better management across the region.
Definitely a critical issue for the North Atlantic fisheries. And that brings us to the end of our North Atlantic Regional News Report for today.
We've covered quite a bit: politics, economics, social issues across Iceland, the Shetlands, Greenland, and the Faroes.
All based directly on our source material. Like we said, no personal takes here. We hope this overview has been informative for you.
Yeah, hopefully it gives you a snapshot of the diverse developments shaping the region right now.
Sources linked below.